Well, hello class, and welcome to just about, not yet, but just about the beginning of week 8, our last week of the term. I know I've said a couple of things along these lines. In fact, I probably maybe sound like a broken record a little bit, but such great content this term. And I really do think that for the online environment, this has been, so I taught this class a while back, this is by far, and I have to say this is by far the best experience I've had with this class. Your contributions have been wonderful. And so I'm really grateful for what you've added. I'm grateful for the thoughtful discussions. I'm grateful for just the interactions, both with myself, the desire to talk on the phone with some of you, Tom, in my office, to ask, just to ask questions in and of itself is really just a benefit of for me anyway, of this class. I just love the interaction with students. I love that you have the option to study on your own, kind of asynchronously. You have the autonomy that you do, but you also have the accessibility if you need to talk. And so for those of you who have written and voiced concerns about things and asked questions and even asked for clarification, hey, I've got this assignment, I'm thinking this is right, what do you think about this? It's just been a wonderful experience. So I'm so grateful for what you've shared, okay? So here's a couple of things that I want to talk about with you, okay? So you have a couple of things that are still left, right? You have your organizational behavior experience paper, which is actually due tonight, okay? But remember I said it was due tonight, but I would accept it until Friday of this week, okay? So even though the term is technically over on Friday, I'm actually taking some other assignments beyond that, but the OB experience paper is due this Friday. It was due tonight, but accepted until this Friday. Okay, so you've got some time there. And then you have your habit paper. Okay, so the habit paper, that one I'm giving you until the end of the weekend. Okay, so that's due Sunday at midnight, which is the 1st of July. Okay, so hear me say these things. The 1st of July, I said this before, I'm saying it again because I know that sometimes you miss this. July 1 is when the habit paper is due. July 29th is when the OB experience paper is due. And then you have your organizational design PowerPoint presentation. That is still with the group with which you have been working. You wrote the paper together, okay? And now you will do the presentation, all right? So I want to speak about that specific presentation. The habit paper, super straightforward, right? The OB experience paper, you've had some time to kind of think on that, and I've had some good conversations with a number of students. In fact, really thoughtful, the responses and kind of questions you're asking about that. Really fun to hear what you're thinking, knowing it's going to be some great papers to read through and to grade. But this presentation, although it's only worth 5 points, I want you to take this very seriously, and I want you to make sure that you don't have any questions on what is expected. Okay, so you'll be working again in groups. Okay, so same groups as assigned earlier that you wrote the paper with. And you are to create a cohesive presentation of content highlighting their paper. Okay, so you will use Google Slides to create the presentation. This will allow for live editing by multiple students as well as provide a method for leaving comments, okay, tracking changes and monitoring revisions, so on and so forth. Google Slides will also allow students to embed the YouTube videos that are essential to the success of this project. Okay. So here's the specific. You can read this, but I want you to hear it from me, okay? Just so you can kind of hear my voice, you can see my face, and so it's not just you reading this on the paper, okay? So you'll read it, you'll hear it, you'll see it, and so forth, okay? So presentation should be no more than 10 slides and take less than 10 minutes to view, okay? After creating the slides, groups should divide up the presentation so that each student is responsible for presenting at least one slide, okay? For each slide, the designated team member will create a 30 to 60 second video of themselves presenting the content of the slide. Okay? That YouTube video will then be inserted into the slide of the presentation. Okay? An example and technical instructions have been set up for your convenience at the link within the syllabus. Okay? So if you have questions, click on that. Each team member is responsible to turn in a link to his or her team's presentation via the assignments tool for grading purposes. Okay, so additionally, one member from each group should post a link to their team's presentation on the unit, should say 8, this hasn't been updated because it used to be a 9-week term, remember. Unit 8 Organizational Design Presentations discussion board by Wednesday of Unit 8, okay? So set the sharing settings within Google Slides to people at Azusa Pacific with a link can view. Students should review and respond to all other teams' presentations by the end of the week. Okay? So I hope it's very straightforward. You'll put 10 slides together. You will break up those 10 slides. You will do 30 to 60 seconds of presentation on each slide. It's likely going to be about 30 seconds, okay? So I don't want you to feel like you have to fill space to give it a full minute. 30 seconds. So if you watch, click on the link and you actually watch and listen to the presentation as it is, you will see exactly how to do it, okay? So, but here's what I want you to do. I want you to be thinking about. So I've got this organizational design project. I wrote lots of pages, had lots of thoughts. What are the 10 things that you need me to know about? Okay, so here's some ways to think about this. I want you to act as if I am the viewer. Okay, so, and actually you could do this because except for your group, the rest of the class has not read your organizational design paper. Okay, so they don't know what it is that you said, what your design is, what your ideas are. And I will say that it's interesting. There's only 3 papers because there's 8 of us, and there was 2 groups of 3 and 1 of 2. Each group is unique. Each paper was unique. Each approach was unique. Your goals were unique. There was a lot of sameness because you had the structure that was the same requirement. But other than that, everything was very different. And so you're going to not be speaking to me as someone who knows the content of the paper, but you're going to be speaking to, especially in this scenario, your classmates. Or if you wanted to pitch your design of this organization, you actually wanted to, let's say you were seeking funding to start this organization, maybe you would use something like this, okay? So take this seriously, follow the instructions, and then this is due Wednesday of this week, okay? So you have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And because of the nature of using Google Slides and you already have the content, put the slides together, record your content, okay? Upload the YouTube videos into the PowerPoint presentation, the Google Slides presentation. Upload it to Canvas, and we're good to go, okay? So it should be pretty straightforward. If you have questions, let me know. You've had some time to think on this. It's been in front of you for the whole term. And I know that I've briefly touched on the presentation. You've read through the syllabus, I'm sure, multiple times, so you know what's expected of you. But now hearing this from me, if you have any questions or things that are not clear, please let me know, okay? So the video itself is due Wednesday this week, okay? The presentation with the videos is due Wednesday this week, and then the response that you need to give to each other's presentation. So there's only 2 presentations is to be done by Friday of this week. Okay, so I hope that's clear. So what do you have to do this week? This is a busy week for the last week. If you haven't completed your OB experience paper, that's due this Friday. The habit paper is due this Sunday, so a week from tonight at midnight. Okay, the organizational design PowerPoint presentation is due Wednesday for the rest of your classmates to view. Okay, and then you still have your last journal entry, and you have the 8th quiz. And then you should be done, right? So there's lots of reading, there's lots of great content, but man, this is going to be a busy week, so plan accordingly. If you have questions, please let me know. I know that life gets busy, so I hope you're able to kind of map out a plan for how to get all of this done in a timely fashion. But if there's things that are still unclear, you're not sure how do you do this or how do you do the video and how do you embed this, even though it's in the presentation, my response to you will likely be, did you look at the actual example presentation that was provided for you with that link in the syllabus? I will ask that question. So if for some reason you haven't, go back. In fact, before you even send me an email, make sure you do, okay? Because that will be my first question. It will be, did you read the syllabus? Did you watch my video? And did you click on the link? Okay? Because I want to make sure that you're using all the resources that are available to you so that you're not asking questions just because you don't want to do all of that work. Okay? So I hope that's clear. I'm really looking forward to this content. You have done a tremendous job. I hope you feel like you've taken away just a ton. Had a conversation with a student, and this is exactly what happened to me. I think I've even mentioned this. When I took this class 12 years ago, a little over almost 12 and a half years ago now, I remember hearing this content going, oh, that's what I've been thinking. I didn't even know there was a theory or some sort of a kind of a way to define, to articulate what my thoughts had been, what they'd been going on in my mind. But then I got this content, and I was actually having a conversation with a student, and they said almost the exact same thing. They're like, I knew that something was off in my workplace scenario, and I just didn't have the words to communicate it. And then I took this class, and I said, oh my goodness. That's what I was watching. That's what I was seeing. That's what was happening before my very eyes. I just didn't have a way to communicate what I saw. So I hope that's been the case for all of you. I hope it's given you some new knowledge, some new understanding, some new language to use, some new ways to approach colleagues, and I would even, perhaps, maybe most importantly, hope that this has given you new tools to best lead other people as you go about doing the really important work that you do on a regular basis. So thank you so much for your great contributions. I will probably post one more video before the end of the term, just as kind of a sayonara, see you later, thanks for all you did in this term. And then, of course, if you have any questions, please email me, call me, come by my office. And even after this class is over, if there's things that I can do to help support, encourage you throughout the rest of your program or the work that you do next, I would love to do that. So thank you again. Have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you online.